wishing to be done missing, but I guess this comes hand in hand with one.
As I said earlier, I grew up in a very small town in Louisiana. Name of the town is Gina. And we were very poor, but my father was an interesting character. And he was an inventor and a terrible businessman, but did a lot of clever things. And he was very creative. And I believe he set up his own peer review system because he would tell people in town, I'm going to take a widget and a Framitz and put them together and make a thingamajig. And everyone would say, Abe, you crazy SOB, you can't do that. And after he had had several people tell him that, he would then go do it and take great pride in saying, see, I did it. So I think he had some influence. I have taken a different path in many ways. In my senior year in high school, I did not plan to go to college. My social studies teacher noticed that I couldn't fully extend my left arm, and he said in the vernacular of the time and the place, boy, we got to get you declared a cripple. So I said, okay, and I went to a hospital 40 miles away, and an orthopedic surgeon looked at me and said, this boy needs rehabilitation, wrote a letter to the state, so I got a rehabilitation scholarship. My plan was to get a job in the oil field and buy a Corvette, because that would be much nicer than my hot rod, my hillbilly hot rod. Everybody said college, an opportunity you can't turn down. So I said, okay, went off to go to college. And I got to school, it was not an engineering school, and everybody said, you know, you're gonna have to work hard. So I think I had a very nice blend of insecurity and determination, so I worked really hard. And then that got me into an engineering school, Louisiana Tech. I arrived there and everybody said, you know, you did okay at this other school, but this is really serious stuff. So, you know, so I was insecure and worked hard. And as I was graduating from Louisiana Tech, I listened to all my friends and they were talking about their job offers and stuff. And I said, you know, I can get a Corvette now. You know, I can go, I can get some clothes and help the parents pay off some debt. So I was excited about that. And my department head called me in and said, have you applied to graduate schools? And I said, what? And he said, you should. And I did. And I got admitted to MIT. And everybody said, that's an opportunity you can't turn down. So I gave up on the Corvette and came to MIT. And I was finishing my master's degree, and I had a job offer from Humble Oil, so I could work in the oil field. And by then I wanted a Porsche. And my supervisor called me in, Robert W. Mann, said, have you signed up for the qualifiers exam? And I said, no, and he said, you should, and I did, and somehow I passed the qualifiers exam. And everybody said, PhD at MIT, an opportunity you can't turn down, so I gave up on the Porsche. And the same thing happened at the end of my PhD with regard to joining the faculty. One of the senior faculty said, we have a slot, you know, you will put your name on it if you will commit to accepting it. So over the weekend, my wife and I decided, yeah, opportunity I can't turn down. So then in my first 25 years or so, the only conscious decision that I made was to ask Margaret to marry me. And I did that really well. I nailed that one. But the rest of it was kind of running in a slot, having people slap me on the rear, say, keep going. Obvious example was when I started a freshman seminar called How Things Work. And that was pre-word processing and computer graphics. But each semester, I would start the semester by telling them about how a bunch of things work, like cameras and scuba gear and locks and stuff. And they would make a list of things they wanted to know about. So they'd make this long list, and the students would pick topics for themselves, 2 to do on paper and 1 oral presentation. So during a semester, we'd create a book. So we'd How Things Work book, and everyone was responsible for learning what everyone else had written up. That was really fun because we'd have quizzes, you know, and I would bring in something and say, you know, what's this? And occasionally they would bring in things and give me a quiz. So the rule was that I either had to give the right answer or make up a story and try to convince them, and they would vote. And they were very hard to fool. But at a time when MIT was probably 15% women, there were over half the class was women. And I do surveys, and universally they said, we're taking this course because we've been culturally deprived of opportunities to know how things work. And I believe, like learning to look at a motor to know that you can design with it, or looking at a grasshopper to know that you can sketch it, if you get infected with the notion that you can know what's inside a vending machine, or a pen tumbler lock, or a sewage treatment plant, or whatever, if it becomes part of your self-image to know all those things, just like it is to read the Wall Street Journal and the New York Times, or however, then that has a long-term impact. And I would love to claim credit for the success of some of my students, but I wouldn't dare do that. I mean, I've been so lucky. They have mentored me in wonderful ways. And the wonderful thing about them is that so many are now outstanding and were outstanding when they were students. I hope I may have changed their direction a little bit, but they had a lot of steam when they hit, so. I hope everyone in the audience will take away the notion that they should find at least one new mentor every year.
One new mentor a year.
And become educated by them while they train themselves.
Well, that's a good message.
It's been fun.
Thank you.
Keep on wishing to be done missing, but I guess this comes hand in hand with wanting it all. I need sleep, killed all the sheep, but I guess this comes